Hey guys, this is Austin. I just want to come on with a quick disclaimer and just help you better understand one thing that's going to be referred to a lot in this episode. This episode was recorded basically a year ago, maybe a couple months shy of that, but essentially it was a year ago. And at that time, Ryan Adams was our worship pastor. You're going to hear Ryan be referred to as worship leader at the Bridge Church a lot in this episode. We're going to talk a lot about what he has accomplished here. This was recorded a year ago. If you do not know, if you do not attend the Bridge Church regularly, or you don't know Ryan personally, you may not know that Ryan Adams got a tremendous opportunity at First Baptist Church in Tifton, Georgia. We are so incredibly thankful that First Baptist noticed how great Ryan is, because I've known Ryan basically my entire life. Ryan was around when I felt the call to ministry when I was 13. He led worship in our youth band that I attended. We went to the same church together. We grew up together. We went over to each other's houses growing up. Me and Ryan are like brothers. And so to see a church like First Baptist recognize just Ryan's special gift and just how amazing of a human he is, it truly blesses all of our soul, because you only hope for that for your friend. You only hope that people would recognize just how great your best friend is. And you know, I've been around Ryan enough to see people take advantage of how hard Ryan works, and just not even necessarily take advantage, but them not fully understand how great of a worker and creative Ryan is. And I hope that we did that to our best ability at the Bridge, and I only pray that First Baptist recognizes just how great Ryan is, because we truly had a once-in-a-lifetime member of our church that I'm just so incredibly in awe of. And I would say that he's my best friend, so I know Ryan's faults. I know Ryan's I've seen behind the curtain of Ryan's life, and I have no problem saying that he's one of the best human beings I've ever been around, and that's why I want him to be my best friend. That's why I keep him as my best friend, is because Ryan is genuinely a special human being. And even though he's not our worship pastor anymore, there's all love there. So again, remember, this is an episode that was recorded a year ago, but even though things have changed, even though positions have been changed, Ryan has moved churches, I will say this on behalf of the Bridge Church: we love Ryan Adams deeply. We are jealous that First Baptist has him, because from being in meetings where we have talked with people who have been affected by Ryan, who have got to be around Ryan, who got to see the impact Ryan had on our church, it is truly remarkable what he accomplished. And Ryan, if you're listening to this, we love you. We are thankful for the time we had with you at the Bridge, and we truly pray that God protects you at First Baptist, and that he empowers you and he uses you mightily for his glory, and that you and your family y'all thrive over there. There's nothing but love. And even at First Baptist, we pray for the best for y'all, that y'all take care of yourselves, and that y'all seek to honor God in everything that you do, as well as just that y'all recognize how great of a gift Ryan is, because we know he is. Love to you all, and I hope you enjoyed this episode.
sure.
Figure out my intro.
Let's point it up a little bit.
How do you normally say it? Just like you're Austin. This is Into the Fray.
This is Into the Fray. I'm Austin.
Right. I do wow.
Anybody else?
Hey everyone, this is Into the Fray. I am Chase Hunnewell. I am the communications guy here at the Bridge Church, and I am with Austin Gregory.
Hello.
And here with Ryan.
What's
Adams.
up, boys?
He is our worship pastor here, and the topic for today's podcast is going to be worship. So we're just going to be discussing
Why you should sing Hillsong constantly. Bethel music. Let's go.
All right, there we go.
Those two exclusively.
Yeah.
Oceans is on repeat.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So
They are the most theologically sound. They will save your church, and they are the future of Christianity.
and you can only sing worship songs designated by K-Love.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, we're joking, guys. We're joking. All these songs and all these worship bands and other bands, they do have a role in worship. And so we're going to just talk today over, kind of the misconceptions on what is a worship song, what isn't, and just get our personal insight on worship. So I'm going to ask Ryan. Ryan, what do you think constitutes as worship?
Oh, good thing I was listening this whole week to like a bunch of different my top guys and stuff like Craig Rochelle, and Phil Wickham and stuff like that. So I think we all know worship isn't specifically music, but that's what most people con it as.
Mm-hmm.
The term worship, they think all automatically music. But I wrote here, worship doesn't start, the most important thing, when some dude with cool hair steps on stage with a guitar. That worship starts with a true understanding of God's value and nature, valuing and treasuring God above all things, and worship is a response of the heart of understanding that. So
Right on.
that's what worship is. It's not necessarily music. Prayer is worship. Giving is worship. All that stuff is worship. I think Robbie hammers that home every Sunday of all the things that are worship, reading God's word, fellowshipping with his people. All that constitutes to me as worship. I am a worship leader, so-called. So
you are.
I am
Yeah.
in charge of leading people into a state of worship is kind of how we view it here at the Bridge. It's part of the whole service that is a whole worship service. So it's kind of just a thing that God's people get to do together, and it's really cool and it's really powerful and uplifting, and it brings people together. Your emotions are on the same level, but worship can be really powerful, really cool, and it's just a response of God's people calling back to Him.
Yep. What about you, Austin?
What is worship? Is that the question?
Mm-hmm.
I agree with Ryan. It's everything in your life. Everything should be done in a manner to glorify God. But then I think sometimes how we then think of that is like everything's got to be super like reverential.
Yeah.
Like
Not true.
yeah, and it's like I think there's fun in worship and joy and.
Yeah, Southern Baptists have kind of messed up their reverential worship service type thing.
Yeah.
Like, we're always so serious.
Yeah.
I grew up in a super serious church. Like, people weren't, like, really joyful. Everybody was just kind of standing there. You might get Mary in the corner, like, raising her hand every once in a while. But you can be reverent to God and enjoy yourself and have fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
And our South Georgia kind of people have messed that one up a lot.
And you know what? I think we have gone in a whole other direction as far as seeking perfection in worship now. So it's gone from, being really rigid in your worship to then now how we go about the worship. And I've been in some scenarios where, you step on the stage and you go to practice and everything is so regimented, where having things in place to make the worship, practice go smoothly needs to be there. But you can almost feel this aura of the performance matters more than what we're actually singing about.
Yeah.
And we as, the church has, it just takes on weirder, things on how to conduct worship. And years ago, it was everything like, we stand up, sit down, get right in the hymnal. It's all those things just seem so regimented, and you had to be so proper. And
I just say this? What was really nice about going to like a super old school Reformed traditional church was we didn't have to stand during worship. You sat down.
Yeah.
That was so nice.
And you just sang straight from hymnals?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No piano, nothing?
I wasn't super
just
crazy
straight.
about that part, but sitting down was great.
You guys can sit down. If you're listening to this podcast right now and you think you have to stand up, sit down. Okay?
Well, and to preface, before we get any further into the podcast, there is no wrong way to worship our Lord and Savior.
Yeah.
There are wrong ways to worship ourselves when we're doing these things, and that's we're going to talk about.
That's a good distinction.
Yeah, we're going to talk about both things and understand that a kid that is just learning how to play the guitar, if he's on stage and singing a song and he may sing a few off-key notes, he's still doing better than the worship team that has, atheists on their team.
Yeah.
Just because they're good players.
Paying people to come and play and stuff.
Yeah.
I think we do a good job of that. Letting younger people in and letting people who aren't as experienced in. Like, yes, I want it to sound good.
Of course.
Yes, I want it to be good, because the better you can play and sing and all that stuff, I mean, it does create a better, I don't want to say atmosphere, because I don't know, that one's tricky. Yeah. People like music to sound good. That's all it is.
Yeah.
But you have to balance that with young people coming in and wanting to do things, sing, play guitar and stuff like that. Like, you just have to.
Yeah.
That's more honest and truthful than
yeah.
hiring people to play.
Aiming for excellence amongst your team is better than trying to set the standard of perfection.
Yep.
Like, you're never going to be perfect. Not even major performing acts are perfect. I mean, you can find elements of, whatever to make notes right, even live. You'll have backing tracks. You'll have, all those tools that artists use to perfect their sound. But I mean, trying to aim for perfection or set the standard of perfection in worship is far different than, aiming for excellence. I think we can all strive to be the best player on stage, but
that's good,
trying to be expecting perfection out of everyone because you want the performance to be, like they're going to Madison Square Garden seeing Taylor Swift.
That's right.
You're just not gonna.
Now that show would be very imperfect. God, straight trash.
Worship leaders do expect people on their team to practice, though.
Yeah.
Side note.
Yeah. I think that's a good distinction, though, of you're aiming for excellence, not perfection. If you're trying to be in the worship band or whatever, it's okay to go through a season of growth. Like, you should be going through a season of growth your entire life with that, of constantly honing your craft and becoming better and not getting prideful or egotistical and thinking, I don't have to work on anything. Like, part of your whole life being an act of worship is your whole life you aiming to please God in everything you do, and realizing along the way, I can tweak this over here and kind of be like a better worshiper than I was before.
Yeah, if you're aiming to please God in everything you do, you're gonna aim to please God in playing that instrument that you play. Yeah. You're gonna do it in your prayer life when you're not with the band and giving all that kind of stuff. So
And it's like giving grace to yourself to have those imperfections. And then too, like, the reality is I'm not in the worship band, but I don't play any instruments. But I know from the teaching side that, you know, none of us are perfect at our craft. Like,
Oh, yeah.
and I think that's kind of crazy that sometimes we'll have a higher bar for you guys playing instruments and like leading us in worship. We have like an incredibly low bar for preachers.
Yeah, for teachers of like our children and
Bro.
stuff, it's like,
Yeah.
it's crazy
And
how some churches
arguably-
have that set up.
Even like some of your maybe weaker players in your bands put in more time than some of these teachers and preachers do.
Well, think about it.
Yeah.
It's almost like school culture mimics, or they're very school culture and church are very similar in how the hierarchy of leadership is set up, especially in the South anyway. You have preachers and then worship leaders and then all the staff underneath. And just like the football or the schools have, you know, the principal, and then you have like the football coach.
Yeah.
But then oftentimes the football coach has even more power than the principal does.
Yeah,
it seems
yeah.
like, and that's, I feel like that can almost mimic that of a church in some ways. Or sometimes church culture tends to be that way, where we put the worship leader on such a high pedestal because music is a very powerful tool.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've ever watched the Hillsong documentary, you can see how worship can be wielded as a weapon in a negative way.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure you've probably felt it in a church you've attended and, had been burned by. But putting those people on those pedestals and then the weird hierarchy of it all, you tend to get into control issues.
Yeah.
And I'm a firm believer that the positions that are on the stage, when we're talking about music, the worship in music, when you have people on the stage, those people do not own those spots that are on the stage. That doesn't mean that you don't take pride in those positions that you're in, but you don't own that spot. I don't own the spot of acoustic guitar or bass or whatever it is I have to be playing. And we always need to keep that in check. Because, and it took me a little while, I always knew that, but it took me a little while to fully understand it, to the point where it's okay that I'm not there every Sunday, that someone's going to be there to be the guitar player or be the bass player or be the drummer. Like, you don't...
Or our computer friends will be.
but
yeah, I get what you're saying, though, for sure.
But unfortunately though, the leadership has, like, some worship leaders believe that too, but they only believe it for the team around them and not them as well.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking to know that there are people within a worship team that can step up and be the leader when they need to be, but because of control issues, you'll never have the kid coming up going, oh, I can lead the worship set this Sunday. Oh, no, you're not qualified.
Yeah.
I'm using air quotes right now, or you're not good enough, or whatever it may be. And I find that to be wrong. I think every spot, no one owns it. The worship leader is just blessed with the opportunity to take everyone together, and then...
I think two things came to mind. But one, giving some like praise to Ryan. One of the reasons I love that Ryan's our worship leader is because he has that heart of, he doesn't mind taking a back seat and letting someone else lead, or kind of having the spotlight for a moment. I think you do that a lot. And
Heck
you
yeah,
even
dude. I don't
even-
like leading all the songs. Do you know how much pressure that is? Like,
you
to sing
even do it to something
4
else
songs?
is like
It's crazy.
you guys almost like kill the music sometimes, and you force the congregation to sing, and you're like putting the spotlight back on our church and saying like,
Yeah.
you guys are a part of this too.
Heck yeah,
It's
they
not,
are, dude.
It's not a show that you guys in the band are doing.
Yeah, they're not watching us play and perform. They're engaged and active in worship. That's why sometimes it's easy to get discouraged as worship leaders and people on the worship team when people aren't actively engaging. It's like, man, did I activate the Holy Spirit this morning? Did I do my job of, praying beforehand and doing all the things that I was supposed to do to actively look at what our church is going through and figure out, the best, type of stuff to talk about and to sing and all that. So, yeah, 100% congregation is very, very important in all of that. I mean, to hear the church, they're the actual church. We're the church together. It's like we're not here to perform a show. You guys actively be involved and engaged, and it just blesses my heart so much when I can back up and just like hear people singing. That's incredible. I love it. If everybody would just sing every Sunday like that, we wouldn't have microphones. I would just start playing the guitar and everybody could just sing together. It's incredible.
A couple of Sundays ago, the whole team, aside from me, was out from COVID or COVID-related something.
Yeah.
And I remember walking into church that Sunday morning going, oh crap, how is this going to go about? And I thought for a moment, well, I can try to lead the worship. And I haven't led worship in years. So there weren't any songs I'd practiced singing. There wasn't anything that I'd prepared at all to do. So I go in and I try to pick out a few songs that I could sing. And we had some of the band. There was a couple of other members that were there, but we didn't have any of like the core elements that we needed. We didn't have the click track. We didn't have tracks. We didn't have anything. So it was just, instruments and our voices. That was it. And it ended up not working out with me and the rest of the team. So Robbie decided to play YouTube videos as our worship songs. And as a musician and a person that's in worship, I initially thought, I can't believe we have to resort to this. Like, this is kindergarten stuff. We're a church that we aim for excellence, and then we fall flat on one of the major elements of a church service. And I'm sitting here going, this is just going to be a disaster. And Robbie gets up and he explains what's going on, and the first video plays. And I'm sitting in the middle of the church, and I'm kind of looking out, kind of seeing everything, and I'm taking in the song. And I'm starting to see that, wow, this is actually working. Like, this is not as odd as I thought it was going to be. People are actually worshiping still. The Spirit is moving. So in a worst case scenario, God still came through.
Yeah.
And so my heart was starting to warm up to this, and I'm realizing, okay, this wasn't a bad idea. This was a good idea. God is still moving. And when Robbie finished preaching, the closing song, he started playing, and I mean, I was in awe seeing people were going to the altar still. Not a single person on stage playing an instrument, just a YouTube video playing on our screens. But people were still going to the altar. People were still praising. It was, I'm not lying when I say this, it almost brought, it was bringing tears to my eyes. Like tears of joy just by seeing like God moving in an undesired situation. Like no one wants that to happen, but God will move no matter what.
Absolutely.
And so
that's what I love at church too, because they're down for anything like that. I mean, that's probably happened multiple times here, and we just go with the flow. It's like if there's no music, we're gonna play some YouTube videos, or we're gonna do something else. We'll just sing without music too.
But I think that's just a testament that God is moving within us, that then transfers out, and we're now like, God knows within our church, nothing is a bad situation. Like yeah, of course we want to have the drums. Of course we want to have the guitars. Of course we want to have the voices on stage singing out. Of course we do. But in this case, like,
but we're not idolizing the band.
right.
That's right. Yeah.
That is really rare.
Yep.
To not idolize the preacher or the band.
Heck yeah.
And
that's in Southern Baptist culture too. It's like,
It is.
my preacher, my band is the best.
well, you think mentioning the Hillsong documentary, that was a big thing. Was they renamed their church after their band.
Yeah.
And like the whole brand,
It's a little crazy.
yeah, the whole brand became this band and how amazing they were, and basically the concert they put on every Sunday.
Yeah. And monetizing the band, like that's how they got their money.
I've been in so many situations where the worship team overshadows pretty much everything else. The worship experience overshadows everything else. And as a member of the worship team, when that happens, it can feel good, but in a toxic way. And I'm not proud of feeling that way. It takes moments where God has to pull you out, and then you look at it and go, okay, yeah. As a musician, it's hard for a musician because you desire that accolade. You desire the praise put on you.
Yeah.
You won't find a single musician that'll tell you otherwise. I'm sorry. Like, you take time to learn something, you take time to get good at it, and you take time to perform, and then getting the praise makes all that worthwhile, and you like it. It's a drug.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like playing a cool guitar solo at the beginning, like the intro solo or whatever, like, that type of stuff. It feels good playing that, and then somebody going after service up to you and he's like, dude, you killed that. It's like, thanks, bro. Yeah. You love it. But then God will humble you right quick and make you be flat on like every note the next Sunday.
or you start the song in the wrong key.
God, give me mercy on that. I've done that so many times. Wrong capo, wrong track, wrong. It's hard out here in these streets.
We started over one time.
Dude.
But no, like, as a musician, you do love that. And so you have to keep that in check when you get back on stage,
for sure.
in worship. And I mean,
pride can be huge in that. That's another. I mentioned Phil Wickham earlier. Like, Phil Wickham has toured the entire world, and his favorite place to be is at like his church, like at his home church, leading worship. And he doesn't even like do his own songs. Like, how much do you have to step back from pride to have all these thousands and thousands of great songs that Phil Wickham has wrote, and you don't even do your own songs because you care about the mission of the church and what God's doing in your church and what testimonials and things are going on to do other things that are relevant to that.
Yeah. Tell that to a young up and coming worship leader at a big small town church.
Yeah.
Like,
that was always confusing to me about Hillsong. Which I know they're a massive church and they have people to like take the spot of the main band, but their band was on tour constantly, like massive tours from their local church.
They had dozens and dozens of people. They had dozens of drummers. They had dozens of guitarists, dozens of bass players. I mean, they literally have a school that teaches you how to play Hillsong.
Yeah.
So when a bass player comes in, you have to have a certain level of chops to even be considered to be a part of the band before you're brought into the band and then taught how to be a
play like the band.
Play like Hillsong. You're going to have the core people that are on tour, but then you're going to have the people that are there on Sunday mornings that are identical to what's out there performing everywhere else.
Can I ask y'all a question of, this is something I kind of wrestle with. Me and Robbie have talked about it in private when it comes to people serving in our church and whether they have to be a Christian or not to help out in the kids ministry or do the coffee, stuff like that. When it comes to the band, is there a place for there to be like evangelistic discipleship going on?
Absolutely. I think so. People just being in the presence of God and around people who can encourage them and stuff can lead them to Christ. It's just like hanging out with them on the weekends or whatever. I do. So far, everybody that's in our band, I've asked them, do you love Jesus? Yes. Do you believe he died and rose again?
Yeah.
Yes. Do you have a heart for this? Do you really want to be committed? That's kind of the things that I fill out and ask before somebody joins the band. But if somebody was like, hey man, I would really like to play with you guys, I'm dedicated and I can be here, when you practice and when you play. I believe in God, but I just don't know where I'm at right now, or something like that. I think there's room for people like that in the church. Absolutely. I mean, people in the congregation come like that every Sunday, and they end up singing and lifting their hands and having an encounter with God. So that's a way of discipleship too. Now, if you're in the wrong place, doing the wrong things all the time in the community, that's kind of a different story. Like you just have to fill out. It's individualized, I feel like, for that type of situation.
Yeah, I take a little bit of a different approach to that. I don't think if you don't have a relationship with Jesus, I don't think you shouldn't be up there
leading people
in worship.
Yeah.
Definitely
not worship leaders and singers leading in a song, because how are you going to passionately sing about Jesus and all that he's done without, really believing that? But as far for me as like a bassist or a background person playing an instrument, I think that's okay. I've never even had to be in that situation, honestly. So that tells you that. I mean, I've never had to deal with that personally. But yeah, if you come to me and you're like, hey, I want to lead worship, what are you leading worship of? You don't know what worship is.
I mean, I definitely believe that the lost have a place in our church when they come. I don't mean that, you don't believe in Jesus and you're not allowed to come through these doors. That's not what I'm saying. But when you don't believe in something and you want to serve in whatever capacity at a church, 9 times out of 10, your desire is not to cultivate a relationship with a God you don't believe in.
That's right.
You're there to
get some endorphins or have a good time.
Have a good time, learn a skill, blah, blah, blah. Like whatever it is, because... And especially if they're paid. Now,
we're not going to pay you if you're listening to this and you want to come play an instrument. All our staff is volunteers.
No. But you'll find churches that'll hire any musician.
Oh, for sure.
That's what
regardless of their walk, because they're good musicians, so they'll make the song good. And I'm
not about that either. I'm with you on that.
But we know that, getting in a relationship with Jesus is knowing Scripture, being around other believers, and also having someone to help hold you accountable in that walk. And if all you're doing is coming to church on Sunday to play guitar or run a PowerPoint or point a video camera somewhere, Jesus is, that's far from your mind at that point. And if your heart's not open, and if all you're doing is just wanting to run a camera or play an instrument or run a PowerPoint or just, serve coffee. Like, there's people that I know that serve coffee in coffee shops, in churches, that don't believe in Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still have. I definitely have mixed emotions about that, but it is a way to disciple too. But if you're not discipling and you're just letting these people show up every Sunday and do it without trying to really get them on the same page as you and share Jesus with them and make them a believer, if that's not your end goal, if your end goal is to just use them for what they can do, then that's totally.
These are good distinctions.
Right.
Because one. Kind of clarifying that we're not going to let them be a leader because they don't even know what they're leading to.
Yeah.
That's a good clarification.
It's worth noting, and I want to. This parlays into what we've just been talking about. But there are churches now
Yeah.
that exist in the world that call themselves churches, mind you,
Yeah.
that do not believe in God.
Yeah.
They profess they don't believe in God. Their worship sets are just feel-good songs.
Yep.
Their sermons are self-help seminars that if you were to put them side by side with most churches now, is hardly any difference. So, like, how can you have worship with non-believers on stage singing about something that they don't believe in, knowing that, a person can go to another church that's singing AC/DC or, Taylor Swift, or that's two polar opposite styles. But you get my point. Like, you can't, if you turn it into just another event, then there's no, God really isn't being worshipped if you're just playing a song.
Yep.
I mean, you could play note for note, everything perfect, not believe in Jesus, play that out to Jesus, and he'll be like, okay, do you even believe in me? Or you could take the little kid who, like I was saying before, just learning guitar, passionate about his love for Jesus, and could be singing every wrong note, and God would be more pleased about what that child is doing than the experienced musician playing the perfect song.
That's right. Yep. That all goes back to the reason why is what we're talking about here. I was listening to Piper earlier this week, and he pointed out Psalm 63. I love Piper.
You Calvinist.
Yeah. Sorry. Psalm 63, 1 through 4. So this is kind of an overview of why, like, the heart of worship, really. Oh God, you are my God. Earnestly I seek you. My soul thirsts for you. My flesh faints for you, as in dry and weary land where there is no water. So I have looked upon you in the sanctuary, beholding your power and glory. Because your steadfast love is better than life, my lips will praise you. So I will bless you as long as I live. In your name I will lift up my hands. So that's kind of the base definition of what I would say worship is. It's a response to your awe and wonder of God.
Kind of piggybacking off of that, like, it's something else. I'm pretty sure Popper did this, but it's like one of the catechisms. The question is, like, what is the chief end of man? And Popper kind of tweaked it.
Yeah.
He said the chief end of man is to glorify God and enjoy Him forever, and he added the enjoy Him forever part. And it kind of one of the struggles I had watching that Hillsong doc when they talked about worship was they talked about the manipulation that can happen in worship. Mm-hmm. And I think me and you've talked about this. Mm-hmm. I struggled with it because they almost came across to me as like, you're not supposed to have emotion during worship, and that if you have any emotion and you craft the song and the sound in such a way that it sparks something in you, that's wrong. But then, to me, one of the reasons I came back to the Bridge and left the more traditional church I was at was because when I was worshiping at the traditional church, I was not enjoying, I wasn't enjoying God, and I was not enjoying, like, in the worship state, because the songs were not piercing my soul, like, which I think is why God asked us to worship Him with music, is because it connects to, like, the deepest parts of us that we don't even know are there a lot of the times.
Yeah, for sure.
And so with Hillsong and them, I mean, maybe it's just their motives that were wrong behind it, and that was where the manipulation comes in. But I think maybe the product wasn't necessarily as evil, because
anything that invokes an emotional response in your heart to give back to God, I don't think is I would call that a manipulation. You know, those songs are still used today. I still play Hillsong songs sometime here. But I mean, in their church and in their culture, maybe I could see that. But if you get emotional in a Hillsong and it just overwhelms you, the presence of God, and it really connects you with His heart, That's definitely not
Sometimes
anything
it
to be
feels
wrong
like
about.
the church doesn't understand what music is.
Yeah.
It's like we have to go to that question of not just what worship is, what is music?
It really, I mean, it does boil down that far as to what is music. And I think, to piggyback on what y'all are saying, I don't think there's anything wrong with having an emotional response to music. We all have an emotional response to music. Music is the universal language that you could play a Hillsong song somewhere in parts of the world that have never heard it before, and you'll find someone getting some sort of emotional response out of it. There's reasons why you go to concerts in bars and people get emotional reactions from that. And also at the same time, there's a guy that will come home from work, sit in his living room with headphones on, listening to classical piano music to hit his soul. So you have music. I mean, the piano at the old time Baptist church in the middle of nowhere that plays, piano songs, it's getting an emotional reaction out of the people that are there.
Yeah.
Maybe not everyone, but it's going to hit someone. My grandmother loved that music.
Yeah.
And I would give anything to sit and worship with my grandmother in a pew, listening to her favorite worship songs than going to any concert that I could ever think of going to.
Yeah.
Because, to see my grandmother enjoying worship.
Yeah.
I mean,
awesome.
You can't say that this is worship and this isn't worship just because the music styles are different. It's different.
Yeah.
And so having an emotional reaction just pulls you in closer to the Spirit. And if it's being malicious, then you have to look at it. If you're writing your song going, man, if I can write this hook to, get this many people to potentially join our church, and that increases our tithe amount by X, or whatever it is, or maybe then we can write another record with all of this stuff, and then this one, there is a scientific method that some have figured out when it comes to music and making a popular song.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're trying to do that just to be popular, then maybe we have something to worry about. But if you're writing a song and it just sounds really good, then there you go.
Piper or Wickham, again, said this, and I wrote this down because it was pretty cool. Music has been with us since the beginning. We don't need music, but it is a gift that God gave us to express ourselves to Him and be in community with one another. So when we're talking about the worship experience in church, same truth, same thoughts, same melody, same hearts, unity together celebrating God.
Yeah.
So music has been here just for the enjoyment of us.
Yeah.
Is what God created it for.
We need music. I'm sorry.
In all types of circumstances, every way, not just Christian music.
Let me clarify something too. I know you guys understand me, but when I talked about leaving the traditional church, it wasn't like I don't think you guys are really worshiping. Yeah. It was understanding I'm a different type of person than you are.
No, I get it.
And you guys, this is natural for you to worship in this way. Mm-hmm. I'm forcing this junk out. Yeah. It's still not coming out. And so I have to go to a church that kind of fits my culture and who I am.
My grandmother loved that I was in worship. She would always tell me, I'm sorry, I just don't like that music.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm like, I get it, Nana. You don't like the guitars.
What's hilarious is my grandparents, they serve at First Baptist Equipment, and they're starting to do new worship music, but it's still in the same 4/4 beats and stuff, but they love it, and it's just their own style. It's hilarious though. Yeah. But I'm the same way. I love watching my grandparents.
I love it that you're playing music, Chase, but I just can't sit through that guitar.
It's important in a church. I think about this all the time. I really try to think about where our church is, what God's vision is for our church and our people, what's going on in the lives of the people in our pews. That's why I like hearing people get up and talk before we play or during a set or whatever. I remember Bonnie Warwick talking one time. She got up after the first song and talked about, just shared a little bit of her testimony. You've done it. John's done it. I like hearing those stories because then I can think about, okay, this will connect with her. This will connect with them. Let's get people connected to God in these ways through music, and that's important to do. Age is important in church too. I mean, like you guys were talking about between hymns, traditional and contemporary. You got to think about the people in your church. Robbie tells me all the time. He's like, edifying the body of Christ. He kind of wants to do. He believes in doing this for this people and this for this people, because we're all one church. We're all coming together, and I'm with him on that for sure. But just knowing the heart of the people in your church goes a long way with kind of crafting and doing the stuff that you do during the week.
Yeah.
Another thing too is what I love as a person that's on stage. You see things out in the congregation, and you see other things. You see other ministries working, because it's just what happens on Sunday. But our media team, especially in the back, Lance and Kathy, nobody sees them, but they see what they do.
Oh yeah.
Every Sunday they see what
if Lance and Kathy aren't here, God help us.
Yeah. No.
Literally.
They deserve,
we love you guys.
They deserve a lot of praise for what they do, but
yeah,
no one sees them.
That's right.
And you could say it's not a glamorous job position to be in, running PowerPoint, running sound.
Yeah.
But they play a pivotal role in our worship, and
Even
that's their form of worship.
Yeah, because if you look back there, you'll catch them singing.
That's my point.
Yeah, for sure.
I can look back there and I can see Kathy multitasking by singing and worshiping and doing slides, and I love it because it puts me in a whole nother state of worship too, because I see wow, we're just one gigantic
puzzle piece.
That shows
working
how
together.
great she is at her job, though, because I've had to do the ProPresenter or the slides and get caught up worshiping and completely forget to have to change the slides.
Yeah. We're on the same slides for 5.
It's been a while since I've seen someone mess up on the slides.
Oh yeah,
and
she's got it now.
Yeah.
And Lance, I mean, and this is just speaking of people that wanting to serve in a position that isn't necessarily band related, but this is worship. It's just as much worship as it is the guitar, the drums, the TV, whatever it is. Lance being back there, learning the soundboard, learning a craft, and seeing him energized about it.
Oh yeah, he's into it, dude.
And
he studies it during the week. He's like, hey, I figured this out this week. Let's try this. I'm like, you're the man, Lance. Let's do it.
He's got a manual that he flips open.
Heck yeah,
and runs
dude.
through, and I
Who reads
love
manuals?
It. Yeah. but I love it because it's aiming for excellence, not trying to seek perfection. It's just he wants what's not best for him. He wants what's best for the worship service, what's best for the congregation. Same for everyone. And so
he walks around the what is it called? The room, the
sanctuary,
to see how it sounds in different spots.
Yeah.
He takes pride in it, and
same thing with the people in the back too, running cameras, like Josie, Cole, Gary, all those people back there. I mean, all the volunteers that we have back there, they're crafting, doing their thing on the cameras and mixing for online and stuff too. We just love people who are passionate about what they do, and even if they can't do it well, or if they're just learning. In the case of kids on the worship team or in the back doing their thing, I mean they are learning and growing and serving. I mean, what more can you ask for than that?
One of the best additions right now that I love is having Seth up there.
Oh heck
Yes.
yeah, dude!
Dude.
Seth's killer, man. He's
loved him.
Dude.
Just not the fact that he's just a killer guitar player, but just a kid, young, that's wanting to serve and willing to add whatever he can to the worship experience.
Yeah.
And man, I feel like he was the final piece that really tapped into the culture within our church. I mean, he comes from he loves classic rock.
Oh yeah.
And so he plays classic rock when he's, at home practicing or whatever. But the fact that there was one Sunday when he first started playing with us, we just said, hey, play what you want.
Do your thing. Yeah.
And he it blew me away because he put a classic rock twist on our worship set that actually fit.
Oh yeah. That's
And
awesome.
And for me, when you want to cultivate like a unique worship experience for your church that really taps into your church's culture, the way he did that, I was like, that's it. He nailed our big, quote unquote, contemporary style church that is out in the middle of nowhere, country style church that was able to kind of bridge the country worship style with the contemporary worship style and turn it into like this cool, I don't know. I'm giving a lot of praise to what most people are like, well, it doesn't seem like it's as big of a difference. But
I know.
When you really
when
listen
people
to
who
it,
don't know anything about music say, wow, I heard, like Kathy told me, man, he just added something that I didn't know was missing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he did.
Yes.
And he did it well, too. It's like last Sunday when you weren't here, dude, he ripped a nasty solo on one of the songs that, like, during the bridge, after the bridge, and we were falling back into, just like low tempo, and he ripped a nasty solo. I just looked over at him, and I almost forgot to start singing the next part of the song. Yeah. I was just like, oh, my goodness.
Yeah. But he wants to serve.
That's right, yeah.
He's not seeking self-glorification. he's not asking for his paycheck. He's not coming in going, I ain't playing unless I got my paycheck this week.
Yeah, dude's hauling a guitar, a tube amp, and a pedal board. It's like, that's dedication. I only bring digital stuff.
But no, that's the kind of thing that you love to see. I mean, even if he wasn't as talented as he was, if he came in with a level of skill and a desire to serve.
Yeah, I started playing in church when I was 9, and I sucked big time. And they turned me up. Like, people heard that I sucked through the speakers. Like, it wasn't like a turning down type thing. Our church was old. We didn't even have the amp plugged in. So whatever I turned it to was like, it was just on. So
Austin, I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
Recently we went to a bar.
Yes.
And saw some friends play their music in a bar setting.
Yeah.
And
Hocus Pocus.
Oh, yeah.
Hocus Bogus.
Bogus. Yeah.
Hocus Bogus.
I screw that up
Oh,
every
my
time.
bad. They were lit though. They were good.
But that was your first time doing something like that.
Oh yeah.
And that was my probably 1 millionth time going to a bar, listening
to a smoky bar show.
Yeah, listening to some punk rock. But tell us, from a person that never has really experienced that, tell us, as a Christian
who grew up in a very conservative household,
how that experience affected you.
Man, it made me like rethink church. There's so many things that I was feeling, and in the moment I was trying to process everything, and it was crazy to me how all these people came together to like support Zane and support the band, and it was like they were like, it felt like the bar was unified of, we're here to like
for this, for these people, for this band,
yeah. Which was like a crazy thing, because it made me think of the church and how can I get a refill? Thank you.
Get some ASMR here.
But it made me think about, like, in church, sometimes we're so divided, and yet this bar, they were so like, they had multiple bands there, and the bands, not only were they like encouraging, like I watched as they were like transitioning between the sets, and they were like encouraging one another, they were getting into each other's sets, but then one of the third band had like dropped out, and so Zane from Hocus Bogus and then another guy from another band came together and did like an impromptu set and freaking killed it. And it was cool because it was just like, they're not built around anything. They're just showing up to play, yet this whole room is unified. And then in church, we just so divided that was crazy. And then the other thing was, I was sitting in there, and it made me, like, I was feeling the music. That's not my style of music. I don't usually listen to it. I only knew maybe like 2 songs. But I'm sitting there, and I can feel the music like in my bones. And it was connecting with me, and I was like, maybe this is what worship's supposed to do. I understand the complaint that like the music's too loud and all, because I've sat in the front row and I'm like, yo, that's killing my ears. But then in the bar, that music was blaring, but it felt like I was a part of something, and it made me like rethink worship of like, maybe this is why God calls us to worship with music, is because it's trying to like seep into our bones. Of every essence, every part of us is supposed to be in awe of who God is, and in this, and like we're going to sing our hearts out and get into this. And I thought that was so like magical and amazing. And then the other part was just, it felt like, my thought was, if the early church started today, maybe this is a terrible take, but this was my take, was maybe they would copy what the bar is doing. At that bar, there were real people there. They brought all their issues.
Yep.
They were a mess. Not really. There's very tame, but it's just real people there. Like, they weren't hiding anything. They weren't scared about who was going to see them there. They were fully present there. And it made me think about church, of like, if the early church started today, they'd probably look at the bar and be like, we're going to tap into what's going on here and take it even further. And I love that, because sometimes we go into church to worship and we have our guard up and we're not really ready to be moved by the Spirit, and we're not really being our true selves. We put on this act of kind of going back to, we're being like reverential but not enjoying God.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or happy, or fake happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When something's going on in your life.
Yeah.
Can I piggyback on what you're saying?
Please.
It had been a while since I'd been in that kind of setting. I grew up listening to punk rock. I grew up going to basement bar shows when I was younger. And it took that experience of going with you guys as, an adult,
Yeah.
experiencing it again, realizing that the people that are here, they came in, they were at the concert, and they were their authentic self.
Yeah.
They were real people. They're not bad people. And I think your take on how the church would be if it started again was probably start in a place like that. I don't think you're far off the mark on that, to be honest. Because, no, like I said, they weren't bad people. They might do things that we may not agree with, but that doesn't make them bad people.
They're regular people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is crazy, because Jesus started the church with regular people.
Yeah. And so being there, I wish that people would go to church with that kind of open mind. I mean, if you know Austin, you know when he says, hey, I want to go to this bar and listen to punk rock, you hear that and you go, are you okay, Austin?
Someone kidnapped Austin.
Yeah. And I wish people would have that same kind of thought process when they're going to church. It may not be your cup of tea, but you never know.
Yeah.
And I wish people would go with the open. And I also say this for church members and believers, like when people come in, don't be so taken aback by the people that may enter your doors, because they're not bad people.
Mm-hmm.
They're just people.
Yeah.
And they're dealing with all the same kind of issues we're dealing with. And I had a buddy of mine come to church who hadn't been to church in a long time. Not really, he's not a believer. And he comes in and he meets Austin. And I remember him dropping a few curse words in the conversation, but he came in authentic. He came in not judging anyone that's there. And so in that same respect, I didn't expect anybody to judge him.
Yeah.
So if he comes in, drops a few curse words, that doesn't make you a bad person.
No.
That doesn't make you not a Christian.
Yeah. It's just as bad as you people coming in with bad attitudes, complaining about the carpet and the coffee.
Hey,
You just dropped the F-bomb on your kids on the way here because they were yelling at each other.
That's something I love about like us guys is I feel like when we come into church, we all have that similar mindset of we are going to be our real selves. And I'll be honest, I've cussed in the church. Like, my God. Like, that's who I really am, is if you hang out with me outside of church, it's going to come out. Like, the first date I had with my girlfriend, I dropped a couple cuss words. One, because I tripped. And
That'll do it.
Yeah. But, man, I think sometimes I understand why we try to be so reverent in church, because God is a really awesome God and He's holy.
And that's honorable.
Yeah. But I think we misunderstand who God is and what He was actually trying to accomplish when we're being so reverent that we become someone that we're not, and that we're not real. Because the whole point in like the story of the Bible is God coming down to be with real people.
Holy.
Yeah. He's holy and reverent, but He does whatever it takes to get to you. And so he comes in the form of a man, a poor, raggedy man in Nazareth, and it's like the worst town to grow up in. But He comes as the least of these, because that's who we are. And so when we come into worship and we're trying to be God in a sense of we're trying to put on this show of perfection, it's like, no, you're missing the point of the gospel. You're missing the point that God is doing everything to come to you.
Yeah. Don't come in here being a holy roller. You're better than people. I know this person was here last night or did this thing or whatever. Just come in here and worry about yourself.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's and speaking from kind of the non-church world, you go into a punk rock show, dingy club show, whatever it is, you come in being a fake version of yourself, people are going to be just as unimpressed by you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's the same as coming into a church trying to be a fake version of yourself. Whether you're trying to be portray perfection or, negative attributes. So
Something else about that bar, and it just hit me about you guys though, is like I said, I didn't really know most of the songs. But watching Zane up there, because I came specifically to go see Zane and support Zane. I was watching him, and he's like has a huge smile on his face, and he's like getting into. He enjoys what he's doing. He enjoys playing the music because he connects with the music. But then I remember you guys, and there'd be songs that come on, and you guys would get hyped. Like, oh, yes. And then there's one song that I think one of y'all mentioned. You're like, I used to cry to this all the time.
Exposed.
It was this crazy thing of like, no, this music has really impacted all of your lives.
It
and
took you back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Worship can do that too. It can take you back to a
Yes.
spiritual moment in your life.
Yeah.
of course it can. Yeah. There was one time when I was leading worship at First Baptist Church in Valdosta. I love this story, and I tell it whenever I can, just because it's not very churchy. But there is a band that I listen to, and they were a hardcore band, like hardcore, screaming, yelling, hard guitars, heavy drums. But their songs are very Christian themed, so a lot of it they're worship songs.
Yeah.
Like if you break it down and you just read the lyrics, is this a hymn? Is this a
Yeah.
is this a Hillsong song? What is this? But there was the very end of the song. of one of their songs, I took that chunk. I mean, it's heavy. It is heavy. And I took it and I turned it into like an epilogue to a worship song. And I remember playing it in church in front of the congregation not having a clue where this song came from.
Yeah.
And being able to sing it and look out and see these people sing this song from a band they wouldn't give a second look at.
They would classify as satanic.
Yeah, pretty much.
Shout out, Mom.
But it was cool to take something, repurpose it, and give it a new life in people that would have heard it.
Yeah.
And
can we be honest? The Bible does that constantly. If you want to be honest, and maybe me and Robbie need to do an episode on this, but I'll just nerd out for a minute. Genesis 1 and 2, those are taken from other creation accounts in the Middle East.
Yep.
And the Hebrews, Moses just repurposed them and put a spin on them. And they communicate this insanely deep truth that caused a group of Israelite slaves to leave slavery. Like, that is... And that's poetry. So it's like, I don't know, yeah. It's okay to repurpose.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, but
Yeah.
that to me, like, kind of exemplifies what worship can be. I mean, it can be any song as long as it's directed to glorifying God.
Oh, yeah.
And so a really heavy song can...
Well, you're taking back what is rightfully God's of all those sounds.
Well, to be fair, those, you're taking it back. I was about to say, they're not. I mean, I can't take something back. In this case, that was a song worshiping God, so I'm not taking anything back. In that case, I'm just putting it into direction that it wouldn't have been in the first place. But all these things like music, visuals, art, everything was created for the glory of God. Yeah. And it was evil that has
taken it from God.
Yeah. I love that story Lecrae told once of he had like a skull on his shirt.
Yeah.
And some kid was like, "That's satanic. You need to take that off." And he's like, "A skull satanic? The thing that God put in your head?"
Yeah.
Like, no, he literally made that. That's God's. And it's the same with music. And I learned a lot about that stuff from like Lecrae and all those guys. I think they've done a great job of saying, hey, like, we can take back the love song.
Yeah.
Like, Christians should be writing love songs to their wives. And
heck yeah.
Yeah, like, that's a human. That's in that Song of Solomon.
Even back in like the 80s when heavy metal was viewed as satanic, and even some of the major acts from the 80s were viewed as satanic bands, one being Iron Maiden. And the topics that they would sing about were off. Now, they weren't praising demonic behavior, but they just had dark themes. But what's cool is they have a song, and I can't remember the name of it, but it basically is calling out it's calling out those that worship Jesus for their own self-righteousness. And I listened to that song going, wow, so this isn't a satanic song. They're not evil people. And so we often take some of those things, like there's a bunch of their songs that people hear certain elements of and go, oh, this is a satanic song. No, it's talking about demons and Satan, but that doesn't, just because you talk about those things doesn't necessarily make it demonic and satanic. As in worshiping Satan.
Yeah.
You know?
That's like, that kind of reminds me of that argument of like against Harry Potter, of it's like demonic and witchcraft, and it's like, Yeah, but it's literally a movie about a good wizard overcoming like dark magic.
See, we're okay. We're okay with those similarities. We don't like those similarities, but we like it when it's like Narnia or or Lord of the Rings, when we know the writers are spiritual. They believe in Jesus, and so we know what those overtones are supposed to be.
Going back to Andy Mineo, my favorite line on Neverland 2, shout out to that album. that is a GOAT album from Andy Mineo after Neverland 1. But anyway, I played Kelsey this other day. She's not going to listen to this, so I can say this freely. In his song "Been About It," about like minute and a half in, he says, "You a treat, you a snack, fighting with your jeans because you got it like that." And I'm like, baby. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, why is that bad music? Like, he's talking about his wife, Anyway, I just thought that was hilarious. And she was like, "You are crazy." I was like, "I'm true."
Yeah. But that's something like it goes back to the idea of worship is all of life. And so for the Christian musician, it makes sense why Andy Mineo makes the songs that he does. Like that whole album, I don't know if he actually references God or Jesus in it at all.
Yeah.
I know there's like maybe one line he talks about his faith, but you listen to it and they're all Christian themes when you think about it.
Yeah. Like Lecrae hating the coined term Christian rapper. He's like, bro, I'm a rapper that loves God. I'm not a Christian rapper. I'm not confined to just rapping about God.
You're doing just what musicians do. You're painting a picture with words and sounds of what's going on in reality. Yeah. Of you're being a good artist.
Yeah, there's too many, and I think, Ryan, you might see this going on right now, but a lot of bands that I grew up listening to in the mid 2000s that were Christian bands have grown up, have toured their young lives, and now they're older. They've been burned. They're kind of falling out of the scene. They're not relevant anymore. And I think elements of bitterness and frustration are kind of creeping into their lives. And so those that were Christian bands, quote unquote, have kind of fallen off to where they put that label on themselves to kind of fall into a genre that they knew they could moderately have success in.
Yeah, do well in.
And now that they're not relevant anymore in that space, they've fallen away from it. And it's kind of heartbreaking. There is a band that have, I think, fallen away from that. I'm not speaking on their personal beliefs, but how they're acting as a band is a lot different than how they acted previously. And that's not to say that they're not acting Christian, by no means. It's just, where is your heart at in this? Is it to worship God still? I mean, because you can worship God and have a curse word in your song and it not, be bad, but where is your heart? And it's unfortunate to see some of these bands that I grew up listening to, especially in the Christian space, go, we're just going to be like this band now.
Yeah.
Because, they ran with all these other elements of...
That was one of the cool things, I think, about watching Lecrae and Andy and all them, the Reach Records crew, deal with is they start off as, like, heavy Christian rappers. Like, rapping about, like, a whole rap song about the doctrine of the church. Which is... I was listening to it the other day. It still holds up. But then them wrestling with the idea of, well, if everything's to glorify God, then me making a love song to my wife is glorifying to God because he wants me to love my wife. And then them going, like, transitioning through all that and them talking about how they'd go on these Winter Jam tours and they've really been changed by God. And then they look at some of these mega, like, worship bands, and they're like, "Oh, you guys don't know what they're doing in private." Like, they don't actually believe any of what they're singing.
Yeah.
But they're leading everybody in worship.
Yeah.
And so then Lecrae and Andy and them, they start making that transition. And they struggled with that bitterness and frustration of being boxed in and all that stuff. But then what was cool is, like, specifically with, like, Lecrae's last album was it being called Restored, and him going, like, for a moment, he was getting really frustrated with church and the Christian genre and all that stuff. And so everyone felt him kind of moving away from it. And then him, like, rededicating his life to Jesus again and working through a lot of those issues he was struggling with, and then making Restored, which is, like, one of the most, like, gospel-centered albums I think he's ever made. And it's, like, not every song's the gospel song, but you actually see how, like, God's actually been changing his life through all that and working through all that bitterness and anger he had. And it's... I don't even remember how I got on that, but yeah.
No, you bring up a good point. I don't listen to the Andy Mineo. I don't listen. I don't know anything about him. But you reading that lyric, knowing the context in which it was written for, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Heck, there's a book in the Bible that's way more graphic.
Yeah.
More sexually graphic than that.
Yeah.
But yet we have... Culture has ruined how we worship, the people that God has placed in our lives. I'm not saying, like, worship, like, idolize or anything.
But just how we view.
Yeah.
Just life in general.
But we made that sacred secular divide.
Yeah.
And we put things in the secular that really shouldn't.
Yeah.
But, like, you writing a song about wanting to, like, loving your wife or, admiring your wife, there's zero issue with that. But for some reason, because culture, our world has done that for any, like, a guy will rap about wanting 1 million women, doing that to 1 million different women. Yeah. We now equate what Andy Mineo writes about as the same. Because the context
they
of
have
what
twisted
he's
it. The world has twisted it. Yeah.
And we need
for sure
more, like, Christian musicians to write some breakup songs. Because I remember going through a breakup and being like, man, there's literally no, like, Christian, like, writing a breakup song. And that's something that everyone goes through. It's
NF got me through a lot.
I think that he's a good example.
And he's a good example. He was one that I did not have a single clue about his spiritual life whatsoever, but hearing him rap and what he was talking about was real and honest. Mm-hmm. Then finding out that he was a believer and that a lot of his stuff has Christian overtones makes you think, okay, there is a dude that can rap about real life struggles and not be negative.
Yes.
Like, you can be honest and not not
have
negative.
Y'all I know you listen to King's Kaleidoscope. That song of prayer.
Yeah.
Where he cusses and but that's one of those songs
just
like
raw.
Very, very Christian. He's talking about his faith, and it's like a literal prayer where he's just cussing and, like, he's like, I don't remember the line, but I think it's like, I'm so effing tired. And but he's tired because I think he lost his son or something like that. He's having an honest moment with God. He's like, I'm mad at you right now. Like, I'm physically broken because of what's going on in my life, and I feel like you're not here. And then there's, like, that silence, and you think the song's over. And it's a pretty long silence. And then you just hear, like, this, it amps up again, and it's like God's perspective of him saying, I'm here. I'm right here with you. I love you. And I mean, not every song has to be like that, but, like, that, I think they did something really special. That's a real prayer that I've for sure prayed. I've for sure cussed out God in my prayers and been like, how dare you treat me like this? Only for God to, like, come in after the silence and be like, let me
put you in your place, Austin.
Yeah.
No.
I love you, Austin. Yeah. But
powerful. Christians should be like making the best music. Like, we should be setting the tone for the world. Like, I heard somebody talking about that. I can't remember who it was now, but they're like, God has gifted us and our talents way more above the world. Like, he's blessed us way more. Why aren't we coming up with the best beats, the best raps, the best instruments, like all that kind of stuff, because we have the Spirit of God inside of us. We should be on the forefront of the art movement, instead of falling behind.
Yeah, we tend to put all of our resources into the Sunday morning worship experience, music worship experience. And so we forget of, just being a band. Like there could be people that are just a band making good music. And as a graphic designer, it's frustrating seeing the arts Christians not being the forefront of the arts like we should be. Instead, we
playing catch up all the time.
Yeah, we're playing catch up. We're doing
parodies.
The fact that like the Christian this is kind of a tangent. But Christian T-shirts are the most annoying thing to me, because most of the times it's just taking a logo from an established brand.
Reese's turning into
Jesus. I don't know. But stuff like that, it's like it appeals to somebody. I get it. It appeals to somebody, but it's not appealing to the people that we need it to appeal to. And the person that wears it is not truly being an acolyte.
I'm gonna start wearing those as memes on Sunday morning.
Oh God. I know we can get some Jeezys. Jesus. I'm sorry.
People would come up to you and be like, "That is so good. That's so clever." Gosh. No, please don't.
Shout out to Mom again, like 2000. I mean,
Did she buy you the ketchup T-shirt with Jesus?
ketchup with Jesus or something. Yeah. The lifeguard ones.
Ketchup with Jesus.
Oh, there's so many pictures of those.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I never wore those.
What was amazing to me, and it's still the Conjuring movies. Of those are like rated some of the best horror movies, especially like the first one. And then finding out that Christians made that.
Yeah.
That blew my mind. And obviously it's got like it's a very like spiritual like movie. It's talking about demon possession and all that stuff. But it's a horror movie, and no one would assume that Christians are making it at all. Mm-hmm. But it's some of the best horror movies ever made, and it's made by Christians because they believe we're gonna make the best art. Same with Narnia. Like C.S. Lewis, one of the greatest writers ever.
Yeah.
And I mean, a lot of people wouldn't have picked up on any of the Christian things in Narnia. I remember watching it as a kid, and the commercial came on, and my sister Jessica being like, "Oh, we can't watch that because there's the witch," and immediately assuming, "Oh, this is like an ungodly movie like Harry Potter," only for then someone to thankfully tell my parents, "No, like C.S. Lewis is good."
If your heart, like if your life is in a constant state of worship, being able to enjoy certain things in life aren't an issue. Like, I can listen to any band and it not negatively affect me spiritually.
Yeah.
I can watch any movie and it not affect me spiritually. Now, there's some cases where, like, I've grown spiritually to where I may not enjoy a certain topic as much as I probably would have in the past.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean that it's going to affect my spiritual walk and cause me to fall back or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I listen to all kinds of bands. I listen to, like I said, I listen to Iron Maiden. I listen to Judas Priest. I listen to Korn. I listen to all these bands.
Shout out Brad Borov. He's a huge AC/DC fan, and my dad listened to AC/DC growing up. And I just remember at Southside, like, he went to a concert once, like to an AC/DC concert, and I heard about it. I was like, that is so cool. Yeah. And everybody else was like, you really went to that? I'm like, dude. Yeah. Like, I love AC/DC. No, I'm not going to play Hell Spells, but.
No, I would go, like, I want to go to a huge, I can't this year, but I'd love to. But there's like a huge metal fest in Alabama going on this summer that I want to go to, and it's playing every single heavy metal band that I've always wanted to see, and I would totally go. and I would totally have a blast, and I would come back the same person as I was, just maybe a little bit more excited.
Kind of just
saw my bands.
You get into like the doctrine of it of all good things come from God because God is all good. And so we look out at creation and we see beauty and we're like, that's God. And so I think for something why I could appreciate Zane and the music they were playing that night is like, they're playing good music. Like those talents come from God. That sound comes from God. I can appreciate this. And maybe I don't agree with every lyric, but the music is like, that's kind of how I found myself approaching a lot of things, like even whether it's comedy or movies or whatever. What can I appreciate? Where is God at in this? Because he's present everywhere. So where is he present in this? Same with people's lives. If I meet a non-Christian who is building a house.
Yeah, God has blessed you with his common grace.
Yeah. He blessed you with this skill to build this house.
Yeah.
I can thank God for what he's done in your life by giving you that skill.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know designers that aren't believers that I can appreciate their talents and skills and believe that whether or not God did work, like whether they believe God worked through them or not, there was probably spiritual influence they probably didn't know.
Yeah.
I mean, God works when you believe it or not. Like,
and it's crazy that we have all these like limits on art of like what Christians can enjoy based on, are they a Christian who made it? But then I'm looking at the coffee maker, like who knows if a Christian made the coffee maker? But we are very thankful for that.
Amen.
Yeah, we buy them all in our churches, and
the guitar techs that built our guitars, were they Christian? Who knows? But
probably not. Electric guitars from the devil. My grandma used to tell me that. Like I would back when I first started playing, I was like 9, 10 years old, and I would turn on distortion, and she would just be like, "Whoa, now!" It's like,
calm
for
down.
those of you who don't know, distortion's like the really heavy, like like stuff. It's not like the clean, like normal guitar sound stuff. My grandma would be like, I really like it when you play, but I don't like it when you turn on that pedal thing that you got there. like, okay, like this makes it demonic. So we're playing the same songs, the same melody, the same Christian song, but this little button right here, boop, satanic.
I know that we've been talking a lot about worship in the sense of music, but we have hit on small little pockets during this conversation of worship is beyond music.
Yeah, for sure.
Worship just tends to be the main focal point on Sunday mornings as far as music goes. But we all, especially sitting around this table, we are all very talented individuals, or at least I'm sitting with two very talented individuals in the skill sets that they're in. And seeing Austin, knowing Austin as a cabinet maker, everything he does is for the glory of God. The cabinets he builds, you think that because they're just cabinets, it's just they're a part of our daily lives to the point where we don't even realize they're there sometimes. I mean, we know that they're there, but we don't think about them because it's just
until I come to your house and you start apologizing before I walk in.
Oh, you don't come to our house.
I'm not judging your cabinets, people.
Yeah. We have what Austin calls carpenter cabinets. That's what they used to build in the old days.
Yeah.
But no, knowing Austin's heart and seeing his skill set, it's really cool to know that when he's building something, that's his way of worshiping Jesus.
Oh yeah.
And to me, it takes it to a whole nother level. I love the fact that I can see a video of Austin on social media of him building something, going, wow, he is putting his heart into it, and his heart is for the Lord, and knowing that, wow, this is an everyday item has turned into an instrument for the glory of God. Yeah. And if you start praising Austin in front of him, he's probably going to try to redirect that praise to
the
Lord.
Honestly, when I'm building cabinets, of there's a process I go through, and I've noticed something too about when I'm in a worshipful state building those cabinets and when I'm not, and the products can be very different.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, sir. Sunday morning when I'm in a worshipful state,
Yeah.
the outcome can be different
Yeah.
than when I come in here with a sour attitude.
When it's why I make it a discipline to, when I pull up to the shop, I say a prayer, I ask God for the gifts and the skills, and I say, please give me energy because it's hot and I'm going to be drained, and wisdom and all this stuff. I just kind of go through a list, and same when I come back from lunch. I say the same prayer because I'm trying to be fully dependent on God, because I know none of this is possible without him.
That's right.
Like, he's the reason I'm able to do such a good job. But then too, when I'm building cabinets, there's moments where I'm not in a worshipful state. I probably listen to way too much Andrew Schultz, and I'm rushing things. I'm not taking my time, and I'm not being caring to the product or the client. And I have to I have to take a step back and breathe and slow down and realign myself and remember, oh, I do this because I love God and I love people, and this is how I'm gonna show it. I'm gonna love the people by building them cabinets that will last longer than their Home Depot cabinets right now, and I'm going to build them strong and sturdy, and I'm gonna do the best. I'm gonna do things that they never even thought they needed for their cabinet, but I'm gonna do it because I love them and I want them to have the best product.
Yeah.
And same with loving God. I want people to, when they get the cabinets, it'd be, I don't know who does this, but they're using their cabinets or whatever, and they're be such a good product that they're like, yo, I'm in awe of God. Again, I don't know who would do that, but there's times where I'm listening to music and it's not Christian, and it is so good and it has impacted me so much that I'd do that. I'm in awe of God, because I'm thank you for whatever you did in this person's life, even if they don't know you.
Yeah. So it's something for everyone listening to realize that, worship is music, but then don't forget, whatever it is that you're doing, you can apply worship to that as well.
Yeah.
Romans 12:1 is a real passage.
There's a person that can work the front lines at a fast food restaurant and worship Jesus by handing people their food, taking their order, and that can be projected onto the person receiving it.
Yep.
And can totally change their day.
Yep.
I can go into a restaurant and I can see that, and that changes my day. They don't have to overtly tell me anything, but I just feel the presence of the Lord in the room.
Yep. Chick-fil-A, shout out you.
Seriously,
they have it unlocked. But I'm saying I want to say it to encourage people that may not feel that they bring any worship value outside of what we consider worship. I mean, we always, just like I said, think of music as being the major form of worship, but really the major form of worship is our daily lives.
And you think about, I think it's Lecrae again who said this, of you don't look at the sky, a beautiful sky, and see crosses as clouds. You just see clouds. But it's so beautiful that's the glory of God. And I think sometimes we have that idea of we have to carve a cross into the cabinet for it to be Christian and to be worshipful. Right? And it's don't
Good
do
point.
that. Please don't. Yep. We'll have to putty that.
Good point.
Yep.
We painted. I'll never forget this. The World Changers of it. Did you ever know about that? You would go off as a youth group. It was like a youth trip. World Changers. We painted this person's house, and we literally painter's tape across on this dude's front door when we painted his house. It's dude, can't we just paint the house in Jesus' name? We got to put a cross on this man's front door.
As
God.
It's cringe.
As a designer, as a graphic designer, I tend to stay away from all those imagery that's specific. Oh, it's a church. Okay, well, we have to have a cross. The cross has to be the logo for the church. And I don't like doing that. I think it's lazy, and so I'll try to be creative in what is the church culture? Like, what are we what is the message of the church? I mean, aside from the gospel, like what are they trying to portray in their imagery? And so I don't like those overt.
Yeah.
Oh,
stamp Jesus on it.
yeah, put Jesus everywhere so that they know that it's Jesus. No, well, if you actually just do a good job, and when they tell you, oh man, this is great, find a way to give glory to God in that so that they know.
Yeah. I'm glad God blessed me with his talent to be able to make this.
Yeah. What's amazing is like thinking about like old cathedrals and stuff like that.
Oh gosh, how did they do that?
I genuinely don't know.
With no like hand tools.
Dude.
But you look at those buildings and you're just in awe because you then like understand why they designed it the way they did, and a lot of it is like, how can we make the best worshipful experience possible? How, like, when it comes to the acoustics and all that stuff, and you appreciate the craftsmanship.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, can we even do that now? Like, can we do? I don't think so.
I don't think we can.
I think we're getting done. The more tools and innovative stuff we come up with, we're losing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that kind of stuff. That's a rant, but anyway.
Well, no. Like in video, you know how video was done?
Oh yeah,
like
it's
100
a
years
work
ago.
of art. Now I just turn on my camera and point it somewhere.
Like there was like we were watching a movie, King Kong, like the original King Kong.
Yeah.
And you could look at it and you'd be like, oh my gosh, like the effects are so like cheesy, blah, blah, blah. You could find a way to nitpick it to death.
Yeah.
But as a creative, you can look at it, and if you take a step back and you see what's going on here, that's boundary pushing.
Oh yeah.
Like to see like, okay, they're doing stop motion.
Yeah,
animation.
shout out Disney stop motion.
Yeah,
Gosh,
and
days, weeks, years of work.
Yeah. Seeing all that, and you go, okay, if you can take a step back, and as a designer, and I mean, I can look at, how graphic designers back in the 40s and 50s, how they didn't have computers, so they had to do it by hand.
Yeah.
And knowing that a lot of it was construction paper and X-Acto knives, like you see what they were able to accomplish, and you just go, man, I can't even begin to start doing stuff like that. I have a computer. I have the tools that make.
I've got Photoshop in design.
It's kind of sometimes I feel like an old man who just hates the internet. But granted, I kind of do.
You're in an old craft too, like with what you do.
Yeah, But I see the TikTok generation and all that stuff. Just kind of my generation, but. They're not taking time to like really develop a craft or a skill or really pour into an art, and I think that's why I just immediately hate the music or movies they end up coming out with, because I don't feel like they actually care about the art. And to me, I hate when people get into cabinets just for the money. Of like, no, come in because you love the job. If you don't love the job, go find something else.
Yeah.
Because I love the job and I want to care for it and craft it and like keep pushing the limits. And I think we're just in this spot right now where we're going for like, how can we make the most money by doing the least amount of work or effort and just putting the least into it. Yeah. And it's coming out with these bland products, and they're not changing people's life. With that Addison Rae movie, ain't changed nobody's life. That is, y'all not know what I'm talking about. But you're seeing this on Netflix of they're coming out with all these movies, and they're just putting these big TikTok stars in them, and it's a ripoff.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah. And it's just like, it's frustrating just because you then look at like an indie movie where the person really cares.
Yeah.
And
they
actually
can't even get it in a festival. Like,
yeah. There's shout out to Seth if you're listening to this. He's a huge Epcot fan, and Epcot is probably one of my most favorite places in the world. It was Walt Disney World's second park, and initially, I mean, it was what the future held for humanity, and it was a groundbreaking park because you didn't have major roller coasters, you didn't have major IP rides in there. You had a lot of them were sponsored by companies to show what the future held for humanity. And it was actually really cool. People thought it was boring because it didn't have a ton of rides that had their favorite characters in it. Well, as time has gone on, the original idea for Epcot, which is far from what Walt Disney wanted, but it was the best they could do with the resources that they had, and knowing, okay, this is a theme park, we can't actually build a community, because it was the experimental prototype community of tomorrow. And I swear this has a connection to what we're talking about. But so as over time, they have incorporated more and more intellectual property, so more and more Disney characters in the park, and they wanted to do that so that they could increase the crowds to come to Epcot. Because Magic Kingdom was so popular, they had to disperse the crowds a little bit. Well, now everything that made Epcot what Epcot was is pretty much gone. So a lot of the major pavilions that are there, they've demolished certain sections. They've redone a lot of sections. There was a section, Living with the Seas, or the Living Seas, that talked about, all water, nature, and things like that. It's now Living with Nemo or something, or the Nemo Adventure or something. I don't even go into it. Whenever I would visit, I would always bypass that, because it was just turned into an attraction built to get kids' attention and sell merchandise. Yeah. And so I think, we as Christians, we kind of take that same kind of attitude where we'll do the low-hanging fruit to get people's attention.
Yeah.
And worship and preaching, there's no distinction between the two to try to attract the low-hanging fruit. You'll have preachers that will give lackadaisical sermons just so they can... If I give a sermon that doesn't really require someone to look internally spiritually and cause them any sort of internal struggle, then then it's okay. I'll just give them a sermon about some self-help stuff to make their week better.
Yeah. What's that guy on TikTok that does that? He's like a young white pastor, and he's like, he really caters to the LGBTQ community. You know what I'm talking about? You've probably seen him on there. I don't know. But it's just like his goal was, to me, kind of seemed like, hey, if I preach that this is okay and twist the word of God, like all these people will follow me on TikTok and I'll make money. Yeah, kind of.
I don't follow the TikTok pastors or the...
I had to get off TikTok.
Yeah.
Social media. Yeah.
I don't even know
that episode.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, we tend to... when it comes to worship, we like to now... I think we're now worshiping ourselves and our society and humanity. We're worshiping humanity more than we're worshiping... That's what progressive Christianity is. It's being okay with the struggles that we're dealing with. I mean, we need to work through our struggles, but we don't need to accept them and praise them. We don't praise our struggles.
That's a good distinction of it.
We understand that we're going to have struggles, but we don't praise them.
Yeah. And if like hardcore conservative Christianity is you just like cover up all your struggles and your pain, all that stuff. You like almost dismiss the human experience completely, then you get Christianity wrong. Mm-hmm. But then what I think a lot that's been happening is kids who grew up in that are swinging to the whole other extreme of we're just going to get God out of it and any like sort of truth, and we're just going to glorify all of the human experience, even the bad and ugly parts. And it's like, no, you got to work through a lot more of that.
Yeah, we're getting to a point now where Christians are believing that you don't even need to believe in Jesus to go to heaven. I mean, that's a whole other...
I'm a pretty progressive... my theology's gotten more progressive over the years, but that's still one of those things I'm like, no, that doesn't even make sense. Like, not progressive in the way that some of you maybe think.
Yeah.
Clarify that.
We get you, but...
Yeah.
You're right, though. There is the extreme conservative side and the extreme progressive side, and we tend to, as as a whole, we tend to completely disavow the extreme conservative, even though, I mean, you can take certain elements of both sides and go, okay, there is some.
I think that's where orthodoxy
It's in the
is.
middle,
It's
bro. It's in the middle.
Yeah.
Everything's in the middle. You always hear that all your life too. Like, both sides have a story, and the truth is somewhere in the middle.
But
like
unfortunately,
the Bible is the solid word of God.
Yeah,
but it's also a work of art.
Yeah.
By man.
But unfortunately, we have completely shunned that one section, and we now, I think Satan has given a lot of,
footing.
Yeah, footing in the progressive far left area, and when that looks appealing, and we shun this side, it only hurts us more than helps us.
Yeah. Man.
Any final thoughts, guys?
I'll say this. I was not expecting the conversation to go this way at all. And I'm very
I know we took a whole bunch of diverting roads, and I apologize for that.
If I'm being honest, I didn't really know what we were going to talk about with worship. I was like, it might be a kind of a boring, dull conversation. But it's actually, I feel like we covered way more ground than I was expecting.
Typical
and
worship conversations.
Yeah, I've been very challenged by the things y'all said. Like, y'all are making distinctions I don't think a lot of what Christian commentators have really, like, they'll talk about there's an issue, but then you guys have really made distinctions clear and clarified some things that I had questions about. So thank y'all.
We love what we do, for sure, and we care about it. And when you do that, and you care about it, and you want to make it better, you keep diving in.
Yeah, I love what I get to do on Sunday mornings, not just for myself, but for everyone involved, whether it be other people on staff or the congregation. It's an experience for everyone, and everyone has a role is equally as important as ours. And as long as someone that leads in worship can keep that in mind, their worship experience will reflect Jesus. It'll reflect the gospel. So I just encourage everyone to do that, to always keep in mind that what you're doing is not centrally focused on you. It is for everyone involved, from the smallest servant in the church to the pastor to the person coming for the first time. And then also worship then goes from beyond what we do on Sunday morning to then everything else in our daily lives. Sure. Your position in life has value. You are valued, and your worship is absorbed by everyone around you. So always keep that in mind, that you don't have to play a guitar. You don't have to run a PowerPoint. You don't have to run a camera. You can be the guy selling cars on the car lot. You could be the guy, making burgers at McDonald's. You can be the chiropractor. You can be the doctor. You can be the business owner in town that has the AC company. Whatever it is, do that. Worship for the glory of God.